Hello everyone! It has been a year since Doors Floor 2 has come out, and some of you guys wanted a Doors Floor 2 guide. So me and one of my friends teamed up to present to you 15 tips for Doors Floor 2. Huge thanks to my friend, his channel will be in the description, go check it out. Without further ado, let's hop into the mines. Tip 1 would definitely be try and find a friend to play with. I actually beat floor 2 on one of my first attempts because I played with one of my friends. It's fun and it's easier than playing solo. Tip 2 is on all the items that you would need in a really good run. Starting off with the crucifix, like I said in my floor 1 guide, the crucifix is like the totem of undying from Minecraft. It basically grants you a second life in almost any situation. The second item I would really recommend to bring is definitely the shears. The shears are really good for opening boxes that have like batteries, lights, and stuff like that. And they are also really good for helping in door 150 on the Grumble chase scene, because they can open shortcuts up to generators. Item 3 may seem useless at first, but is really useful on door 200. It is the bandage pack. You can swim through the goo in door 200, and if you do, you need a heal, and the bandage pack is like perfect for that situation. The last item you need is a light source. It could be any light source, but I would recommend a big flashlight because it helps a lot on door 150 because it allows you to see better. Tip 3 is how to obtain all the items that I just mentioned. To obtain the crucifix, you have to search through lockboxes. You can open them with lockpicks or skeleton keys. You can also obtain them through shearboxes. You can also find them through locked lockers. Next up we got shears. Shears can be found in shear lockers. They can be also traded from Louie. I also wanted to say that if you want a 100% guaranteed chance to get shears, go into floor 1, go through the courtyard, and then there's a guaranteed shear that spawns on door 90. And if you get those and beat the game, put them in the rift and carry them over to floor 2. The bandage pack can be obtained through very many methods. The first one is through the pre-game shop. Second one is the floor 2 Jeff's shop. Third is lockers, tables, lock boxes, locked lockers, and also shear boxes. They can also be traded from Louie. The big flashlight is exactly the same as the bandage pack, and it could be found in all the places that the bandage pack can be found in. For tip number 4, I wanted to discuss quickly what can be found in the shear boxes. The shear boxes can contain gold, glow sticks, lighters, flashlights, bandage packs, battery packs, strap lights, laser pointers, big flashlights, crucifixes, batteries, bandages, and vitamins. We're gonna go on to Idea's first segment, so I'm gonna hand the mic over to him.
There are 3 new entities as of the Mines update. Louie, which Max is going to go over in a second. I'm not going to cover that one. Giggle, and the Gloom Bats. Giggle will always spawn on the ceiling and has a decent spawn rate. I usually see him around every 5 to 10 rooms. If you stand underneath Giggle, he will jump down and latch onto your face and deal 7 damage per second. The counter to this is to always listen for his slight giggles that he does every so often. And constantly look up when in the latter half of the run. If you're having trouble with Giggle, I recommend bringing a friend along because your friend can pull Giggle off your face by pressing E. You can also stun Giggle using any light source, or by... They can also be crucified. Gloom bats spawn in by either breaking the door down in front of you, getting rid of all the light sources in that room, or they will have a passive nest in their own room. They hate any sort of light, and if you try to use any light sources besides the laser pointer and the glow sticks, you will take damage. You can ignore gloom bats by using glow sticks, but they are less reliable because they last about 2 seconds before the gloom bats destroy them. If you are in a gloom bat nest, you will notice a lot of these eggs everywhere. The smaller eggs won't do anything, but if you step on the larger eggs, you will take damage and a much more reliable light source will appear from the egg. I only recommend doing this if you are completely lost, since the damage that you take from the egg isn't worth the limited light source you get from it. Gloom bats can also be crucified. There's also a new environmental hazard, fire damp rooms. Fire damp rooms are super simple. Stand there, you die. Also, don't use a lighter. Rapid fire round. These are all the old entities that are buffed when in the mines. Rush can now come from either the front or the back. Hide now stays in the last place you were hiding in, making ambush harder because now you need 2 hiding spots. Halt now has 3 different paths to choose from. Use clues or signs to figure out which path to take. Breach now spawns in whenever he feels like it instead of only in dark rooms. Dupe spawns more often. Eyes now teleports to a random location. Figure has 2 minor appearances throughout the whole floor. While I was editing this, I found out the figure can just straight up not spawn throughout the whole run. Here's the seed, go try it out. Jeff doesn't sell the crucifix or the skeleton key anymore. Jeff, my boy, what did they do to you? You have some college money.
Tip 6 is going to be about Louie. Louie is a friendly entity that you can trade with. He has no set value of spawning, so you might not get him a single time in one run, and in another you can get him 3 times. Louie spawns completely randomly and can be found in any room. To tell where Louie spawned, you have to see this little hole. Dropping items near said hole will result in Louie coming out and trading with you. Once acquiring 2 or more items through trading with Louie, he will never come back from that hole. There's a lot of combinations of trading with Louie, so I'm gonna try and speedrun this. Louie can give you an item from 3 categories: low value, medium value, and high value. These categories are determined by the rarity of the item you give him. Starting off with the low value category, if you give Louie bread, cheese, glow sticks, candles, or a lighter, he will give you bread and cheese. Moving on to the medium value category. Giving Louie a skeleton key, shears, big flashlight, green soda, starlight jug, starlight bottle, starlight vial, shake light, laser pointer smoothie, moonlight candle, or alarm clock will result in him giving you either the skeleton key, shears, spotlight, or green soda. I would also like to mention that Louie will always give you a different item than what you gave to him. Last up, we got the high value category. If you give him a bandage pack, battery pack, flashlight, strap light, vitamins, or lockpick, he will give you the same items from that category, but different. You can also crucify Louie, and he will give you 4 items if you do. Next up, we're going to be discussing both the figure encounters. The first figure encounter you will see around 110 to 115. This figure is not capable of killing you and will not be attracted to any type of sound. The first actual figure encounter will be around 120 to 125. In this room, figure is aggressive, so making any noise will attract him and make him run around that spot for 5 to 10 seconds. Then he'll switch back to passive mode. Keep in mind that he can enter loot rooms that are not part of the next room. Dupe can also spawn in his first encounter, and getting duped by him will attract figure. Throwing glow sticks or opening drawers will also attract figure. The second figure encounter is around door 170. The second encounter is more complicated than the first encounter because this time you have to find 2 light bulbs to fill up a generator, activate the lever, and open the gate. This section can be a bit annoying because opening drawers attracts figure, but if you listen out for the guiding light sound effect that plays when you're near an item required for the objective, what I would recommend is waiting for figure to be far away and then opening the drawers near that sound so that figure doesn't aggro on that sound. Now you have to head over to the hole where the generator is in and put in the light bulbs to power the gate. Tip 8 is all about the first seek chase. The first seek chase will always be on door 142 and will always end on 149. The first seek chase has two phases, the run phase and the minecart phase. During the run phase, you will have 3 different obstacles: jumping over gaps, crouching in holes, and split directional pathways. If you want to get the jumping over gaps consistently, you want to jump off the last 2 floorboards. To know what directional pathway you have to take, you have to follow the guiding light flow. And now we transition to the minecart section, which is on 146. When you try and jump across this gap, you will enter an animation. If you do not jump, you will fail and die. There are only 2 obstacles on the minecart section, the crouch boards and the directional pathways. Personally, I have trouble with this sometimes, and this is really RNG based. But the tip that helped me is knowing that you can crouch while turning at the same time. You also have to follow the guiding light flow. Getting to the end of this section will make you encounter a new threat, which leads us into tip 9.
Grumbles will always spawn in the same 4 places and will always spawn right when you enter the chase sequence with the Queen Grumble. There are 3 normal Grumbles along with the Queen Grumble, making 4 Grumbles you have to avoid in total. The only difference between the normal Grumbles and the Queen Grumble is that the Queen Grumble is much faster than the 3 Grumbles. Other than that, I've been told that there is a scar on the Queen Grumble's face. I don't know if this is true or not. I don't pay attention that much, so it might be true. A lot of people say that a normal Grumble is faster than your walking speed. This is a common misconception. Only the Queen Grumble is faster than the player. The normal Grumbles follow me at relatively the same speed. They might be slightly faster, but you can mitigate this by cutting corners, since Grumbles always take a set path that is often slower than the path you can take. This is the nest layout for the first floor. Notice this giant hallway with 0 lockers or safe spots. Stray as far away from this hallway as you can when you are being chased, because if you don't, another Grumble can easily cut you off. Seriously, this is how long it took me to get through this hallway. Also extremely easy to get stuck on random rocks or other things of similar quality, which can get you killed if a Grumble is chasing you. Here's the layout for the second floor. You will know if a Grumble has spotted you if they start laughing. Mechanic is a little buggy, so it can be inaccurate at times, but for the most part, it works fine. A common strategy I use when navigating the nest when I'm near a Grumble is to follow the Grumble closely when he passes by. This way, the Grumble will have to do a whole 180 when, or if, he notices me. And it's also protection against other Grumbles in the area. The first time an anchor beeps, it will immediately show its location. After that, it takes 5 more beeps for its location to be shown again. The little sticker on each anchor tells you how much the anchor is offset by. So for example here, the sticker says -6. The first number is 8. 8 minus 6 is 2, so if I press the number 2 on the keypad, it will give me the number 8 on the display. As a side note, I highly recommend bringing the big light and the clippers or shears or whatever you like to call them. The big light because you can see really well in the large tunnels. You can also shine it in the Grumble's faces to make them slower. This mechanic is a little useless, however, since walking backwards is slower than walking forwards, and you might lose more distance than what you would have gained. And the clippers because you can take shortcuts to other anchors in specific spots that are much safer and much faster than going through the tunnels. You can also crucify the Queen Grumble and a normal Grumble. Crucifying a normal Grumble will condemn it to hell forever. Crucifying the Queen Grumble will only stun it for about 10 seconds.
Tip number 10. Play the outdoors. After you beat the outdoors, you are given an option to either save for later or continue your run. If you continue your run, you will actually skip half of floor 2 and just go straight to Jeff's shop. This is useful because the outdoors takes less time than beating half of floor 2. For example, if you don't search or loot for stuff, it will take around 20 minutes for you to beat the outdoors. But if you try and beat floor 2, it will be more difficulter and it will take around 25 to 30 minutes. The downside is that if you want to get to the outdoors faster, you have to pay 10 Stardust. Another thing that was added in this update is that now Jeff can sell both the crucifix and the shears in his shop. Also, if you take the outdoors route, Louie is guaranteed to spawn at Jeff's shop. I have completely lost track of what tip this is, but this is the tip where I tell you about second Seek Chase. The Seek Chase will start on door 181 and end on 185. In this chase, Grumble and Seek kinda team up, but it's in a sibling type way. Anyway, the first part of the Seek Chase is exactly like the Seek from floor 1. There are going to be two sides that you pick from. One side is the correct side and one side's the wrong side. You can tell which side's the wrong side if the door doesn't have a shimmer on it. The strategy I use for these rooms is to look to one side while running in the other. If the side I'm looking at doesn't have a shimmer door, I just keep running to that side. If it does, I'll just run back. The next room is really easy. You just run towards the middle, and then when what side the Grumble shows up on, you just run to the other side. And the last part is just kicking down doors and literally just going with the flow. I like spamming E here, and if I have vitamins, I just use them because this is just a long hallway basically.
There are 3 phases to the damn boss fight, each with their own unique entity layout and difficulty. Each phase is harder than the next, with the third phase being the hardest. All valves are highlighted courtesy of Guiding Light, and you need to turn a certain number of these valves to progress to the next phase. In the first phase, there are 2 valves and 2 hands. Hands, yes, that is their official name, are pretty slow and attack when you get too close to them. When they do attack, they teleport somewhere else, which can be useful if you want the hand to move out of your way. The attack itself has an incredibly small hitbox, making dodging it really easy. Despite that, it can be really lethal if the attack does hit, sending you flying in the direction the hand hits you and stuns you for a full second. This can take some heavy damage if you're in the Seek Slime for too long, considering the full second of stun duration. Phase 2 has 4 valves, 4 hands, and 2 sludges. Sludges are walking hitboxes that are extremely slow. The main strength of these guys comes from their ability to block off sections of the dam, preventing you from getting anywhere. Their hitbox is an insta-kill, so if they're ever blocking off an area, just wait until they move to a more available spot or until they teleport somewhere else. The route to get to each valve in Phase 2 is a little more convoluted. Flip the first valve, make your way to the second valve, walk around the pile of Seek Slime to the third valve, and then beeline to the fourth valve, not valve. Beeline to the fourth valve in the corner. Phase 3 has 5 valves, 6 hands, 4 sludges, and 1 worm. The worm will pick a random spot in your general direction and make it glow red. Then after a full 3 seconds, the worm will jump out and into that glowing red spot. If the attack hits you, it's an insta-kill, making worms a constant threat throughout Phase 3. If you're having trouble, play it slowly and calmly, try not to rush it, and just wait for a perfect opportunity to progress. The route here is almost identical to the route from Phase 2. Start with the first valve, then jump around to the second and third valves, then to the fourth valve, and then all the way back to the fifth valve in the corner. Be careful on this last valve, because if the tide is too low, you won't gain enough height and won't be able to make the jump. Wait until the tide is higher for you to be able to make the jump.
And the last tip of the video. Where is the rift? The rift spawns in after you beat Dam Seek. And you have to climb the ladder, and then it's going to be right behind you. That's it for today's video. If you made it this far, consider liking and subscribing. I want to give a huge shout out to my friend for helping me on this giant project. I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.